What's going on, guys? So today I have a video about some pretty big news for the knife community, and that is of Cold Steel being bought out by GSM Outdoors. So for this video I have a wonderful Cold Steel AD15 just as a visual aid. I have yet to do a full video on this, but I've had this for many months. Just amazing knife. So yeah, let's get into it. This was a rumor for a little while that Cold Steel might be, selling off the company. Lynn Thompson, one of the most unique people ever involved in the knife industry, ever. No one could ever replace Lynn Thompson. But there was a little talk about Cold Steel selling out. They changed some policies and stuff, and people were kind of questioning what was going on. And now when you look at Cold Steel's website, if you can scroll all the way down, you can see the GSM Outdoors logo. And if you go to GSM Outdoors website, which is a much larger company, they have like 30 different brands. They're all brands that I'm not personally familiar with, just looking through them quickly, but they're all generally like outdoorsy, shooting sports, hunting, things like that, like trail cameras and holsters and targets and gun mats and basically outdoorsy type stuff, right? So acquiring a knife company like Cold Steel makes total sense for their products and their branding and stuff. But looking on their website, you officially see Cold Steel on there. And also, if you look at the contact information, as we know, Cold Steel is always out in California, and now the contact information is Texas. So it's pretty much been confirmed that they now own the company. But the details are still slowly coming out. No one has any idea yet if Lynn Thompson will ever be involved personally with the company, if he's still overseeing it, if people like Andrew Demko is still involved with the designs or anything like that. So all those details are still kind of up in the air. I think the assumption is that maybe Lynn Thompson was just ready to retire. And if you don't know, Cold Steel Knives, they came out in 1980. That's when Lynn Thompson created the company. And it's 2020, so it is their 40th anniversary. And maybe Lynn Thompson just decided after, running the company for 40 years, making some really awesome knives, establishing, an entire branding, making a good bit of wealth for himself, that it was time to retire. And I mean, if that's the case, if he just sold it to retire and wants to move on and live the rest of his days on his beautiful ranch, shooting guns and, hanging out and do all that kind of stuff and hunting, then so be it. That's his prerogative. I had the, opportunity to meet Lynn, just like I said, a character, someone like no other, but extremely passionate about knives and his hobbies of hunting and guns and things like that. So it is still a rumor, that he may or may not be involved in the company as well as other people, but it seems to be fact now that Cold Steel is now owned by a much larger corporation. So what does this really mean? Well, this is not good news, because generally what we see is in the past, knife companies have been bought out by much larger companies, and they tend to really go downhill. And what I mean by that is these companies mass produce these knives, they start switching over to, made in China, and obviously there's tons of knives that are made in China that are good quality, but in this respect, it usually doesn't turn out like that. And you think of brands like Schrade, brands like Smith & Wesson. When Taylor took over Schrade, they changed a lot of things, and then eventually Taylor was sold to Smith & Wesson. We know Smith & Wesson, the gun company, has nothing to do with Smith & Wesson, the knives. You know what I mean? So there is a general idea, unfortunately, that the brand will go downhill. There's no proof of that. That is just an assumption. We don't know what's going to happen. It's very, possible that they can keep making the same awesome, knives that we all have grown to love. Cold Steel has definitely set themselves apart as being a very substantial company, within the knife industry. Really, there's hardcore Cold Steel fans. And I've always been a huge fan of Cold Steel Knives. They've always offered something that was different than everything else. And like I said, Lynn Thompson was such a character, and a lot of the different people that work for the company, they definitely did their own thing, but they were very successful at it. And they really did make an awesome product. So the big question mark now is, what does the future hold? Number one, I'm waiting for information to hear if Lynn is still involved in the company, if he completely retired and that's it and just hand it over. But what we know for sure is that the entire name, the intellectual property, all the knives, the whole thing is now owned under the GSM Outdoors name. So who knows what the future holds, but this is kind of your heads up. This is really huge news. If you've ever had interest in cold steel knives, I would certainly buy them up now. So this is just kind of like a heads up. This is what's going on right now. 2020 just ceases to amaze me. There's only a month left of it, less than a month. But just one bombshell after another, and now cold steel. Is that what's happening? 2020 is swallowing up cold steel, the beloved knife company. I don't know what the future holds, and I hate to be negative about it. I really hope it doesn't go downhill, but who knows what we're going to see? You know, a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Is cold steel going to be a thing of the past? I don't know. I know personally I'm going to be investing in a couple cold steel knives that I always wanted before they're gone. I would recommend you guys doing the same. Buy them up when you can. Like I said, who knows if it's going to get better, worse, stay the same? I don't really know. But I'm here pretty much just to give you the news, the very sad news that cold steel is no longer what we know it. Will it get better? Probably not. But I want to stay optimistic and say that, you know, I'm sure they're still going to come out with plenty of designs. It's just the GSM outdoors, from what I understand, again, this is just very quick research. This is all very new information to me. Like I said, it was a rumor for a while, and today it was kind of like officially, yeah, it's happened. They've sold their company. So I'm still, you know, absorbing information. I have a ton of different people all around the world in all different aspects of the knife community giving me bits and pieces of information as they learn it as well. But, you know, GSM Outdoors, they've been kind of passed around a little bit too as a company. So who knows how long they're going to last. I think they've been around since 2000, but they were bought out a couple times and sold. So it's like one of those things where all of a sudden, you know, some guy in a suit and tie somewhere says, yeah, I'm going to sell this company. And then what happens? Their subdivisions just go to crap. They just disappear. So it's still possible that cold steel knives might be a distant memory down the road. So I just want to give everyone a heads up there. Like I said, if you have any interest in cold steel stuff, I would definitely grab it while you can. And we're all going to have to sit back and see what happens in the future. But it's been a crazy year, and what a way to end it, right? God, I can't imagine what's going to happen in the next couple weeks. But anyway, that's all. Just your news out there for all the cold steel fans. You will see a video on this in the future, probably the near future now. I'll focus a little bit more on it so I can get a video done. But anyway, that is it for now. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow with a brand new video.